Mary looked at herself in the mirror and didn't recognize herself. It wasn't her face that had changed, it was her gaze. It was empty. The life had disappeared from her eyes. That very day, she began to notice that every morning she felt more tired, more empty, as if someone were stealing her energy without her realizing it. She felt that something wasn't right. Nothing in her life seemed that terrible, and yet everything felt heavy: work, social media, life itself. And every day was a mirror reflecting the same image back at her: someone who wasn't enough. What struck her most was realizing that it was she herself who compared, criticized, and devalued herself every day. And she understood something even worse than losing someone else: losing yourself. For years, Marie believed that love was something found outside herself, in the eyes of others, in the messages that never arrived, in the approval she could never attain. Her life was a constant comparison. Her friend had a more attentive partner, her coworker had a better job, her sister was much more confident. All she had was a feeling of emptiness that grew silently inside her. One day, after yet another night, crying over someone who didn't value her, Marie asked herself something she had never dared to say out loud. Why does no one ever truly choose me? And that was the question that, without knowing it, began her most important love story, the one she would have with herself. The next day, something changed. Mari woke up with the same sadness but decided to do something different. Ask for help. She stood in front of the mirror, took a deep breath, and told herself, from this day forward, I will not abandon myself. When we started the sessions, Mari was very vulnerable. Tears were a constant. For years, she had allowed her own inner voice to mistreat her. Every time she compared herself, every time she doubted, every time she begged for love from those who didn't know how to give it, she was mistreating herself. For the first time, she understood that self esteem isn't about being better than anyone else, but about stopping the self devaluation, the self harm, and starting to love and accept herself. That it wasn't the world abandoning her, it was she herself letting go of her own hand. And in a moment, with tears in her eyes, she decided to break the cycle. After a few sessions and a lot of work, one day she broke down in tears. But this time the tears were different. They were no longer tears of pain but of relief, because she understood that she was the only person who would never abandon her. Neither her partner, nor her family, nor her friends could be there for her the way she could herself. She began a difficult journey. It wasn't magic, nor was it pretty quotes from social media. It was a lot of work, learning step by step that saying, it's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. Loving yourself means valuing yourself, and that we are all valuable people who deserve to be loved. It's about accepting who you are, the good, the bad, what hurts, the imperfect, and still looking at yourself with love, with compassion. She discovered that the ego shouts, competes, needs applause, but self esteem whispers, embraces, and it teaches you not to stay where you are hurt. And that was her turning point because Marie realized that when she herself started to feel capable, valuable, interesting, and strong, the world began to treat her differently, as if her new outlook had changed the way everyone saw her. She was no longer the fragile woman who needed to be chosen. Now she was the woman who chose herself every day. She simply started living as someone who knows she is enough. She no longer sought approval or begged for affection. She discovered that people with self esteem do not allow themselves to be mistreated because they know that no one has the right to break what took them so much to heal. And if someone tried to do so, she would leave without fear, without guilt, because when you love yourself, you no longer search for saviors, you look for companions, and those who stay do so by choice, not out of need. Months went by, and one day, the same man who once made her feel small came looking for her again. She looked at him, smiled, and said, calmly, I don't blame you. I also treated myself badly for a long time, but I'm no longer that version of myself. She turned around and left, not with anger or pride, but with the peace of someone who has learned the most valuable lesson. Self love is the beginning of an eternal love story. Since then, Mary is no longer afraid of being alone because she knows that as long as she has herself, no one else can make her suffer. She will never truly be alone because she is with herself. She learned that self love is not a luxury, it is simply the most eternal love story there is, because the only love that never leaves you is the love you give yourself. And she understood something that changed her life forever. The way others see you does not define you, your worth does not depend on who chooses you, and no one can take away what you build from within. So if you ever feel like you're not enough, remember this. You are the only person who will never abandon you. Never. Loving yourself is not vanity, it's survival. It's understanding that you are a valuable person and that no one should make you feel otherwise. And when you realize this, nothing ever hurts the same way again. I hope these stories, which deal with topics that affect us all, can help you see things from a different perspective. And if you like them, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you very much for listening.